Factoring polynomials. So we're going to have a look at a few questions. So some we're going to be able to factor, others we need to use a quadratic formula, may need to factor by grouping. So let's have a look. So the first one, we can factor this. We're looking for factors. So 1 multiplied by 3 is 3 factors of 3. That will make minus 4. So this is going to be quite straightforward. This is going to be minus 3 and minus 1. And I can just write these as x minus 3, x minus 1. I'm going to set it equal to 0 so I can solve. So x minus 3 is 0, or x minus 1 is 0. X is equal to 3, or x is equal to 1. And if we check this in Desmos, so put it into Desmos, we can see that we have the x coordinates at 1 and 3. So those are the roots. So let's have a look at another one. Okay, so the next question we have, x squared plus x minus 12. So if we look for factors, so 1 multiplied by minus 12 is minus 12. Factors of minus 12, that will add to make, so plus 1. So we've got 4 and 3. So we need a positive 4 and a negative 3. So this is going to be x plus 4, x minus 3. We can set this equal to 0. So x is going to be minus 4, or x is going to be 3. So if we check in Desmos, so looking in Desmos at our graph, we can see that we have roots or x-intercepts at minus 4 and 3. Okay, so if we look at question 67, this time we have x squared minus 4x plus 2. So we're not going to be able to factor this, so we need to use the quadratic formula. So looking at our values, so we're looking at these here. So our a value is the x squared, so this is going to be 1. Our b value is minus 4 and our c is 2. And our quadratic formula is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and it's all over or all divided by 2a. So substituting in the values, so we have minus 4, and we have minus 4, which is all squared, minus 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 2, all divided by 2 multiplied by 1. Now if you simplify this, this is 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 8, which is just going to be 8. So let's get rid of that. And this is all over 2. Now this will simplify further. And if we use our calculator, we'll have the two values. So we're going to be approximately 3.414, and x is approximately 0.586. And we'll just check this in Desmos. Okay, so you can see our values 0.586 and 3.414. Okay, so question 68. We have f of x is 2x squared plus 4x minus 1. This cannot be factored, so we're going to use the quadratic formula. So we have our values. So a is 2, b is 4, and c is minus 1. And if we substitute this into our formula, we'll have x is equal to, so we've got minus 4 plus or minus 4 squared minus 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by minus 1. And this is all divided by 2 multiplied by 2. So if we simplify, we'll have minus 4 plus or minus 24 over 4. We can put this into our calculator. And x is going to be minus 2 plus 6 all over 2, or minus 2 minus root 6 over 2. So our values, x is approximately 0.225. Let's check in Desmos. Okay, so this would be minus 2.225. So let's check in Desmos. Minus 2.25 and 0.225. Okay, so this question, we have cubic, so it's x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x. So we are going to look at factoring this by x. So if we factor by x, we'll leave us with x squared minus 3x plus 2. And now we can look to see if we're able to factor this. So factors are 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. Factors are 2 with a difference of minus 3. So that's going to be 2 and 1. And we need it to be minus 3. So it's going to be minus 2 minus 1. So this is going to be x minus 2 and x minus 1. If we set equal to 0, x is equal to 0, x is equal to 2, and x is equal to 1. So we can check this in Desmos. Okay, so looking at Desmos, we can see that we have intercepts at 0, and so roots at 0, 1, and 2, which is what we had here. Okay, so question 70, we have another cubic, but if we look at this one, we can see we have 4 terms. And if we have 4 terms, we can factor by grouping. So we're going to have a look to see what we can do with this one. So looking for terms that are similar. So we can look at if we look at the x cubed and the x, and then we look at the minus 2x and the 2. So let's have a look at this first. So we'll have x cubed and x. So I'm going to factor with x. So we'll have x squared minus 1. And then if I look at the other, so I've got a 2. So if we factor with minus 2, this will leave us with x squared. And we want it to be positive, so we're going to have a minus. We've got a 2, so this is going to be 1. So we're doing this, and we're looking for the terms inside to be the same, which they are. So f of x. So I'm going to put these together. So I have x minus 2 and x squared minus 1. So these are my factors, and I'm just going to check in Desmos. Look at the x-intercepts. We're going to have intercepts at minus 1, 1, and 2. And here, because we have the square root, it's going to be a positive and a negative 1. Okay, so looking at factoring polynomials with a degree of 6. So this time, we need to factor as if it was a quadratic, but we need to do something first. So if you remember, we can set, or we can let, so we're going to say u equal to x cubed. And if we do this, this means that u squared will be x to the 6. So I can use this in my equation. So I'm going to substitute. So I'm going to substitute u, okay, into my equation. So into equation. And if I do that, so I've got x6 is going to be u squared. So it's going to be u squared. X to the 3 is u, so this is going to be u minus 2. Now it's now in quadratic form. So I can now factor. So I can factor because it is in quadratic form. Okay, so let's look at factoring. So this one's going to be quite easy. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2. Factors of minus 2 that add together just to make 1. So we know this is going to be a 2 and a 1. It's positive, so it's going to be a plus 2 and a negative 1. So this is going to be u plus 2. And it's going to be u minus 1. Now what we need to do is to substitute, so we need to replace, so we're going to put back in the x, so u, we're going to put x cubed for u. So looking at our equation where we see u, this is going to be x cubed plus 2, and then for u, we're going to have x cubed minus 1. Okay, so if we go back to what we found, we need to solve this. Okay, so we substituted that. We now have our values, and we now need to solve. So we've got x cubed plus 2 is equal to 0, or x cubed minus 1 is equal to 0. So x cubed is equal to minus 2. So we're going to take the cube root of minus 2. Or we have x cubed is equal to 1. So we're going to take x is going to be a cube root of 1. So this will give us answers of approximately minus 1.26 and x as 1. So if we check this in Desmos, so put in the graph into Desmos, we can see that we have solutions of minus 1.26 and 1. Okay, so question 72. X cubed plus x squared minus 4x minus 4. So we have 4 terms. So when we have 4 terms, we can factor by grouping. So let's have a look what we can do here. So we can see that we have an x squared and an x cubed, and we have a minus 4x and a minus 4. So we're going to factor by grouping, and we'll factor by x squared. So if we do that, this will leave us with x plus 1. We can factor by minus 4, and this will leave us with x plus 1. So we can have a minus. So now we need to set them both all to, let's combine these terms first, and these are the same. So we have x squared minus 4, and we have x plus 1. So now we need to set these equal to 0. So x squared minus 4 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x squared is equal to 4. So x is plus or minus 2. X is equal to minus 1. So if we check these using Desmos. Okay, so putting the equation into Desmos, we can see that the x-intercepts, so the roots, are at minus 2, minus 1, and 2. Okay, finding all points of intersection. So this question, y is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 3. So we have a quadratic, and y is equal to x plus 5 is a linear. So we need to find the intercepts where they cross each other. So we can do this using substitution. So we need to substitute our value for y is x plus 5 into our equation. So x plus 5 is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 3. And now we're just going to bring all the terms onto one side, and so they'll be equal to 0. So then we can simplify and factor. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x, and we're going to minus x from here, so we'll have minus x. And then we've got plus 3, and I'm going to minus 5 from both sides. So this will leave us with x squared, and we will have plus x minus 2. So this is going to be squared. So now we can factor. So this is going to be x, so x minus 1 and x plus 2. I'm just going to write it the other way around. So I'm going to make it equal to 0. So x minus 1 is 0, or x plus 2 is 0. So x is 1, or x is minus 2. So now we just need to check in Desmos. So we need the intercepts. So we need to find the y values as well. So what we're going to do is say when x is equal to 1, we're going to substitute this in now. We're going to substitute into one of the equations for y, to find y. So y is equal to, so 1 squared plus 2 multiplied by 1 plus 3. So y will be 1 plus 2 plus 3. Y will be 6. So our first point of intersection is going to be on at the coordinates of 1, 6. And then our second, when x is minus 2, so we'll substitute that in. So minus 2 squared plus 2 multiplied by 2 plus 3. So we have 4 plus 4 plus 3. 4 plus 4 plus 3. So y is going to be 11. Okay, so when y is minus 2, so we're going to have minus 2 squared, 2 multiplied by minus 2 plus 3. So 4 minus 4 plus 3. And this is going to leave us with 3. So our coordinates are going to be minus 2 and 3. So if you put this into Desmos, you can see that we have our quadratic and our linear. And we can see that the coordinates for the points of intersection are minus 2 and 3 and 1 and 6. Okay, so we have another question. So we need to find the intercepts. So we've got x squared plus 4x minus 2 and 2x squared plus x minus 6. We have two quadratics. So we're going to make them, well, we're going to use this substitution. So if y is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 2, and y is equal to 2x squared plus x minus 6, I'm just going to replace the y with 2x squared plus x minus 6. And now I'm going to bring everything onto one side just to make it easier, and then we can factor. So 2x squared, bringing over, we're going to minus x squared from both sides. And then we've got plus x, we're going to minus 4x from both sides. And then we have minus 6. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So this is going to equal to 0. So simplifying, so we're going to have x squared minus 3x minus 4. And if we look for factors, so factors of minus 4, so we want factors of minus 4 that give us a difference of minus 3. So this is going to be minus 4 plus 1. So x minus 4, x plus 1. So x is equal to 4, or x is equal to minus 1. Now we need to find the y-intercepts. So to do that, we're going to substitute these values in to find y. So first of all, y is equal to 4 squared plus 4 multiplied by 4 minus 2. So y is going to be 16 plus 16 minus 2. Y will be 30. And then if we do this again, so this time x squared, so we're going to have minus 1 squared plus 4 times minus 1 minus 2. So 1 minus 4 minus 2. So let's just do this properly. This should say y equals. So y is equal to minus 5. So our coordinates are going to be 4 and 30, and minus 1 and minus 5. And if we check in Desmos, so if we check Desmos, we can see that we have one intercept there at minus 1, minus 5. And then if we scroll in here, we can see we have the other one at 430.